should probably be on the Bulls.
And now we're back. Alrighty. Welcome back to another Let's Go Fanatics Wednesday. Sorry, we're starting a couple minutes late, just getting going because we got lots of film to discuss. So I was finishing up some of the editing touches on that because we're going to have some more film discussion like we did last week. So definitely stick around for that. 3 Bucks games to talk about today. We have the win against the Bulls, the loss against the Rockets, and the win against the Mavericks. Then we have 1 Badger basketball game to discuss this week. 2 Badger basketball games. There's only 1 coming up next week.
Yep.
I said 1. 2 Badger basketball games this week, and then our abbreviated football recap, which will be much more fun than it's been over the last 5 weeks. So that's what we got going on today. We're going to hit the intro, and we're going to start with some Bucks basketball.
Welcome to another episode of the Wisco Fanatics Show, where we cover the Packers, Bucks, Brewers, and Badgers basketball and football teams from an optimistic and realistic perspective.
Wisco Fanatics is brought to you by Cardboard Legacy, Wisconsin's most complete sports card shop. Buy, sell, grade, and consign all at their location in Oshkosh.
If you're interested, last night we did our Green Bay Packers recap from the Eagles game and the preview against the Giants. So we do those on Tuesday night, so check that out as well. Starting with the Bucks, let's start with their Friday night win against the Bulls. Jake, what did you take away from that game?
Yeah, first NBA Cup game for the Milwaukee Bucks in 2025. The Bucks are dominant in the NBA Cup games. We could say that with full confidence. We have the ultimate on our bench, on our coaching staff, who has never lost in the NBA Cup. So if that's the magic trick we got in our pocket, I guess it is. And the Bulls ran into it. And the Bulls are playing good basketball up to this point. Up to Friday night, they're 6-1. The Bucks are coming off a tough loss, a back-to-back, second half of a back-to-back versus the Raptors. So Giannis in this game, 41, 15, and 9. This is the first game all year that Giannis has shot under 61.5% from the field. So you got that, and he still scored 41 points, which is scary hours for the NBA. He also had 2 steals, 2 blocks. Miles Turner, his highest scoring output as a Milwaukee Buck up to this point, 23 points, 8 rebounds, had 5 3-pointers. To add to that, he had 4 steals and a block. Gary Trent Jr. played good defense all night. He struggled from the field. Same thing with A.J. Green. But between them taking 13 3-pointers, I like that. That's context that needs to be said. Those are the guys that need to shoot it when they're open, and honestly, shoot it when they're semi-open. To be quite blunt with you, A.J. Green had a block, and Ryan Rollins, another 20-point output for him, 26 and 4. 7 of 13 from the field, another 4 3-pointer game for him. He is showing to be a lethal weapon from outside. He's able to get inside, use his length, and finish around the big boys as well. He had 3 steals and a block, so absolutely phenomenal game for him. And he had a tough assignment guarding, blanking on the name, point guard Bulls. Why am I blanking? Josh Giddey. Sorry, I was thinking about Badgers basketball. So that's what I've been working on mostly. Guarding Josh Giddey, who was the first Bulls player to have back-to-back triple-doubles coming into this game since Michael Jordan in 1989. So Josh Giddey is on a heater coming into this one, and Ryan Rollins had the tough assignment to guard him, and he scored 20. So you love that, right? Kyle Kuzma, another good game. Cole Anthony didn't take too many shots, but in his 22 minutes, he was efficient. 11 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists. Now, I took some numbers on Buck starters and bench, and Bull starters and Bulls bench. So the Buck starters scored 95 of the 126, had 46 rebounds, 18 assists. They shot 58% from the field and 43% from the three-point line, 13 of 30. That's pretty dang good. Considering the Bulls made 10 3-pointers as a team, the 5 starters on the Bucks made 13. The bench scored 31, had 17 rebounds, 9 assists, shot 48% and 33% from the three-point line. The Bulls, their starters, minus 20 points to the Bucks starters. They scored 75, had 30 rebounds, 22 assists. They shot well from the field, 54%, but poor from the three-point line, 33%. Their bench scored 35, shooting 41% from the field, 27% from the three-point line. So if there's one bugaboo on this Bulls roster, and honestly, I kind of like what the Bulls are doing. Their roster's kind of coming together a little bit. It's really not as bad as it's been in previous years when they had DeRozan and Levine. They've pulled together some nice talent. They don't shoot the 3-ball well. The Bucks won this game mainly in the fourth quarter. It was kind of a back-and-forth game up until that point. They won the fourth quarter 41-30. The Bulls were 14 of 24 from the field, 1 of 8 from 3 in the fourth quarter. The Bucks 13 of 25, 5 of 10 from 3. So they're plus 12 from the three-point line. Miles had the best one of the whole night after he hit his three and gave us the three antlers, which was literally that was lit. Giannis also, of his 41 points, 19 of them came in the fourth quarter. So people saying that Giannis isn't a closer, they need to check themselves. Hello,
King Bogan on YouTube says hi, welcome. So I'm gonna give credit to the Bulls for one thing, and then I'm gonna move on. To your point, their roster's kind of coming together. I think they need to get rid of Vucevic and get a more athletic center, but
yes.
He's making enough threes that it's he's at least counteracting what he's giving up.
Right.
Matas Buzelis is a nice piece for the Bulls.
Yep.
He's one of the better players from last year's draft class. He's really good. He's got a good mix of size and athleticism, and that presented some issues for the Bucks defensively, mainly for AJ Green. You brought up Rollins and Giddey. I think just the Bucks got off to a slow start in general, figuring out how they were going to counter some of the Bulls' size. The Bucks got down 8-1, didn't make their first field goal until the 8:35 mark. The Bulls held multiple 7-point leads in the first quarter, and then Doc adjusted with playing some zone defense and put Kyle Kuzma on Giddey. The Bucks were able to draw even at 35, and it was kind of just a back and forth game from there. Second half, the Bucks allowed a transition dunk off of a missed free throw. That cannot happen. Doc Rivers immediately called a timeout, and the Bucks went on a 10-0 run and then allowed a 9-0 run. So I think there's something to be said about the Bucks having to stay focused in some of these scenarios. In the end of the game, the five-man lineup of Giannis, Ryan Rollins, AJ Green, Kyle Kuzma, and Miles Turner was plus 12. And if you swap out if you swap out Kyle Kuzma for Gary Trent Jr., they were still plus 7. So to Jake's point of, the starters versus bench, we're going to talk more about Kyle Kuzma today. Kyle Kuzma in this game had 11 points, 8 rebounds, an assist, a block, and 0 turnovers against the Bulls. You brought up Miles Turner. I think this was his best game as a Buck on both ends. 23 very efficient points, 8 of 14 from the field. Made 2 of his 3 free throws, and then 8 rebounds, 4 steals, a block, and a team high plus 19. Also had 6 deflections. So Miles Turner isn't just blocking shots; he's getting his hands on the ball often. You brought up Ryan Rollins. It was good to see him hitting some shots after a couple bad games. Still committing some silly turnovers, and it's kind of just one of those things where it's like he's going to make some highlight plays. He's going to make some silly turnovers. As long as it averages out in the Bucks' favor, it's going to be okay. And again, he's young, so I'll give him some slack for being 23. But he's also playing good defense at the same time. So he's not, it's not like he's getting cooked defensively when he's not scoring. And you could say the same for Kuzma. But Ryan Rollins had 7 deflections, had 3 steals and a block with his defense. Now, Giannis Antetokounmpo got off to a slow start, like you said, still scored 41 points. 28 of them came in the paint, which is hilarious. It was also 15 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 blocks, 2 steals. He didn't make his first field goal until there was 1 minute and 29 seconds left in the first quarter.
Yeah.
And only had 7 points in the fourth quarter, but like you said, had 19 in the fourth. And Doc Rivers kind of used him differently. So there was a lot of whining about the Bucks bench not being productive enough, and Doc staggered Miles Turner and Giannis starting with this game. Staggered them a lot, still played them together quite a bit, but staggered them to potentially try to hide Bobby Portis on defense, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I looked up the plus minus of when those guys were on and off, and then playing Giannis and Turner, and then Giannis and Kuzma with Bobby Portis. So with Giannis, Kuzma, and Bobby Portis, they were still plus 1. So that's 2 bench guys and a starter. Bobby Portis, Kyle Kuzma, and Miles Turner were plus 2.
Okay.
And Bobby Portis with with other two other good defenders. I mean, it's good. They didn't play Bobby, Miles, and Giannis all together, so there's nothing there because they didn't play all 3 of those guys together. That would be wild. So there's something to be said about having Bobby out there with Giannis and Kuzma or Miles Turner and Kuzma.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's an opportunity to potentially hide him defensively a little bit. And I know I said this to you that yes, Giannis. Bobby Portis has been brutal to watch at times, but there's things that are available here. and mainly it's going to be the pick and roll offense, which a lot of this is going to end up involving Miles Turner. But the Bucks ran a ton of pick and roll this game, and it worked great. This is obviously more of a pick and pop with Miles Turner, but I mean that's what Cole Anthony's doing here. He's doing great things for the Bucks in the half court offense. Mm-hmm. More pick and roll. There's tons of pick and roll, pick and pop. This is Giannis and Bobby running this together. I don't think anybody's complaining about Giannis getting wide open dunks.
No.
So that's just a good pick by Bobby to go and do that on the reverse side. Isaac Okoro was lost.
He had a tough night, dude. Okoro had a tough night.
More pick and roll. This is Bobby and Cole Anthony, who I think are actually running some really good pick and roll together. I think I had some clips from them in the Kings game last week. But I had some examples of Bobby and Cole Anthony running the pick and roll. And I think there's a little bit of opportunity on this play for Bobby to just move this ball to Miles Turner a little bit quicker. Miles Turner makes the three, so it ends up not mattering. But I think there's an opportunity when Bobby comes off of this screen to make that pass quicker. If he makes that pass now, Miles is wide open versus being just open.
Yeah.
So this is still a good play, but like I said, I think there's just a little bit of opportunity to make this an even more open shot for Miles Turner. More pick and roll. Okay. This is Jericho Sims and Ryan Rollins. If you have a center who looks like he's trying to jump away from a spider, that's probably not a good thing for your defense. So watch Vucevic when Rollins comes off and he realizes he's going to shoot.
You're right. Hey, we remember what that looks like. That was just last year, bro.
So this is obviously a pretty good shot for Ryan Rollins, and Vucevic is not the kind of guy that you want getting switched onto a point guard.
No.
Okay. More pick and roll. This one, unfortunately, the TV didn't do us any favors of getting us a good angle for this, but this is just fantastic offense. And this play right here, I would say, encapsulates everything that the Bucks want to do. Obviously, Giannis getting the wide open dunk, which we just saw, is great. But Giannis passing off of this pick and roll to a wide open shooter in the corner, there's 4 guys paying attention to Giannis right now. 4 guys paying attention to Giannis. And Miles Turner gets an open 3. That's how the Bucks want to operate right there.
That was a nice pass by Rollins, too. Throw a little bounce pass in the direction that Giannis was going. That was really nice.
More pick and roll. It's a good screen by Bobby and Bobby and Cole Anthony. I give credit to Cole Anthony for his ability to change speeds quickly. To stop and pop that. That's a tougher shot than it looks like.
It really is.
But Bobby and Cole Anthony running good pick and roll together. Now, I'm going to put one more pick and roll on here, but we're going to get some defense before that. So this is good defense by the Bucks that leads to good offense. So, good defense by AJ. Good close up by Giannis to get a hand on it. And then the Bucks are going offensively. Good hustle by Kuzma to get four also.
Yes.
Okay. This is beautiful.
Oh.
Like you said, Okoro had a rough night.
Dude, he really did. I mean, he had 2 early fouls, and then, Ryan Rollins was already in a rhythm at that point. Yeah, it's a tough spot to be, man.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm thinking that Ryan Rollins mixes in a fake kick out to Miles Turner here also. Oh, sorry, he fakes it to Kuzma. And this guy, also 23, he's 10 games into having a big role.
Jesus Christ, we might have to start calling him Ryan Rondo here.
Well, as much time as he's spending with Rondo,
Same,
okay.
Bro.
So now, unfortunately, we got to do this because it's not going to be as intensive as it was last week, but we got to do something here. If we're going to be having all of these calls going against the Bucks, Giannis needs to be at the bare minimum getting the same calls that other people are getting against the Bucks. So remember this play. Josh Giddey does not get called for a block on this play. That's pretty clear contact, causes Giannis to lose the ball. All ball in the second part. Fine. Totally fine with that. But shouldn't have got to that point.
No.
He should still be shooting 2 free throws here.
Yeah, that should be a foul.
Because we're going to see much weaker stuff called fouls when we get to the other 2 games. That is absolutely a foul. Now, we have other good stuff, but still got to do more annoying stuff. How in the hell is this an offensive foul? This play has been in the NBA for 2 decades and probably longer, but over the last couple of decades, it's become more of a popular thing to pump fake and get a guy in the air. Where have you ever seen this called offensive?
And he didn't even like egregiously step forward.
And he didn't like launch into him. Like this, Turner says it to the ref like 6 times that he came into my space. And there, like you said, there's nothing egregious here. The contact is only happening because he's jumping towards Miles Turner.
Yes.
This is never called an offensive foul. Shea does this 4 times a game.
He does it 4 times in the second quarter, dude.
Like, again, there's no elbow to the chin, nothing. This is a common foul, but it gets called an offensive foul against Miles Turner. I have never seen that play called an offensive foul. But it's the Bucks in the year of our Lord 2025. Do you want to do the rest of the how is this what the foul call situation is, or do you want to do the good stuff?
Do the good stuff, because I'm
okay.
So sick and tired of these calls that we're not getting, bro.
Dude. So now we're gonna glaze Kyle Kuzma for a little bit. This is 2 opportunities for Kuzma to get an assist on this possession. One Cole Anthony doesn't pay off, and one Giannis isn't able to pay off for him. But 2 good passes by Kyle Kuzma. If we're talking about Kuzma adding a couple more assists a game, and he's giving you, 15, 6, and 4 assists and a block a game, like nobody's complaining about Kyle Kuzma.
Cole Anthony should have 100% made that first one.
This was a kind of a rough Cole Anthony game because I have more opportunities where Cole Anthony could have paid some stuff off.
Yeah, he didn't shoot the best.
Let's give Kyle Kuzma some more credit. Offense to defense. Good double clutch finish on a layup. Now, this is right after him scoring. He could be, piping himself up, hyping up the crowd. Comes down and cuts off Josh Giddey's drive to the lane. And Patrick Williams hits a logo 3. Whatever, is what it is. I'd much rather have that than Josh Giddey taking a layup.
I mean, Patrick Williams is not a great shooter, so.
But I looked it up. He's shooting like 44% on threes this year.
I gotta see his attempts. How many attempts is he shooting?
He's probably like 4 for 9 or something.
Yeah.
But now we got Kyle Kuzma going defense to offense, coming the weak side to block Giddey, and again, staying in the play. And he gets second chance points. That's the basketball gods rewarding you right there.
That is effort. And we talk about this all the time, that you can control your effort.
Absolutely.
And this is great effort. And there was actually a question posted by a big fan Bucks page that said, is Kyle Kuzma good? And I literally commented and said, yeah, Baldhead Kuz is a hooper, bro.
Yeah.
Hooper.
Absolutely.
He's a hooper right now.
This too, like the court vision for some of this stuff. Bro, that's a rocket. And look at him. He's like, you can see him smiling as he's walking up to Bobby Portis. Like, how the hell did that get through there? This is crazy. That's a great pass.
Yeah, Williams is way late on that. Good positioning by Bobby Portis, though.
Yeah, that's a good seal by Bobby. But, man, that's good stuff.
Yeah, it is. I like it.
All right.
Ooh,
another opportunity where Cole Anthony could have given somebody an assist. this is still just this is great court vision by Giannis is really what this is. That's why I put this in here. To be throwing that from the NBA Cup out to the corner, that's insane.
He's not a good passer.
Yeah, don't give me that shit. That is awesome.
Oh, nice pass.
Okay. This is just good offense in general by the whole team. This involves some pick and roll stuff. But again, it's Bobby and Cole Anthony that get this started. Bobby realizing he's got Ayo Dosunmu guarding him. And Kuzma just fires another one across. And again, if Cole Anthony has a game where he goes like 5 for 5 on threes, the Bucks are going to just have like 4 dudes with 8 assists.
Yep.
And again, this is good recognition by Bobby to take this down to the post.
Yep, force the mismatch. Now the rotations are going to be off.
Yep, pass out of the double team. That's a good shot.
It is.
Some more good ball movement because everybody loves ball movement. And it's super fun when it results in things like this play does. It's a good pump fake by AJ. And Giannis gets a layup.
Yes, that's very good for AJ to put the ball be able to put the ball on the floor after the pump fake. That was the next level to his scoring.
Yeah.
So people can't push up on him so much because he is such a good shooter. You got to push up on him still. He collapses the defense. The best finisher in the paint over the last 15 years.
Yeah. This is fun. I knew when I saw this play that we were going to talk about it. This is prime Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
And I love that Kevin Huerter thought that Giannis just cleared out Patrick Williams. No, he's just stronger than your whole team. And then Vucevic thought he traveled. Like, no, this is clean. He gets his foot, establishes a pivot, and dunks on you. That is a man among boys.
He's like, what did I just see, bro? I had 2 hands on the ball.
This is Lakers Shaquille O'Neal.
Man. That's disgusting, dude. And Patrick Williams pissed him off.
Oh, that is awesome.
Come here, little boy. And Patrick Williams is strong. He's a big guy.
He's stocky. Like, he's 6'9", but...
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to go back to a questionable officiating call. And this happened not once, but twice to Kyle Kuzma over the last week, where he stands his ground in the paint and gets run over and gets called for a blocking foul. How is that not an offensive foul? Giddey literally lowers his shoulder into his chest. Kuzma keeps his arms out. He doesn't reach. Like, how is this not an offensive foul?
That's a great question.
Let's just flip this. Let's say that the person driving the ball is wearing a jersey that has like antlers on the side and it's got like a number 34 on it. And that player drives like this into somebody's chest and the guy goes flying off down under the basket. Do we think it's going to be a block or a charge?
They're calling charge 10 out of 10 times.
I agree. This is great defense. Like, what else is Kyle Kuzma supposed to do?
That is really good defense.
So it's unfortunate. Like, I feel bad for him because, again, Kyle Kuzma's playing good defense. And this happens not once but twice over this last week. Now, we're going to give some credit to some team defense. This is after Giannis, again, doesn't get a foul call. But the Bucks are playing defense with 4 guys against 5. And making great rotations. Giannis gets back into the play and ends up with a block. But shout out to the 4 guys playing defense before Giannis gets up, and then you end up with Josh Giddey shooting a contested 3. I just wanted to give credit to these 4 guys, being AJ Green, Gary Trent Jr., Miles Turner, and Ryan Rollins.
Yes.
Like, that's good defense, 4 guys on 5. So, good job on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ryan Rollins, good defense. He doesn't get a steal for this. He does not get a steal for this, but he does force a turnover here. Good job to recover. Miles Turner passes him back off. Ryan Rollins throws the ball off of Josh Giddey's foot. So this is great defense by Ryan Rollins. Again, he does not get a steal for this. He gets a deflection, but doesn't go on the stat sheet as a steal for him. But he's going to get credit here on our show.
Okay, again, we could talk about it on offense. We could also talk about it on defense. Rajon Rondo was a sneaky defender. He had long arms. This is Rajon Rondo defense right here. For
That's
people
fair.
who didn't see,
It's a good call.
this is how he looked. He was quick and used his long arms.
Yeah, good call. 2 more clips of defense, and then we're moving on. This is good team defense, and I love this so much because they start in their zone, and it's like a match zone. It almost becomes like a zone man. And, dude, the way that all 5 guys are connected on this possession is just like, yes.
Yeah.
Even after the foul call. So Jericho Sims gets called for a foul for a bump on the baseline, and they lock back in for another 14 seconds of defense.
Yeah.
Like, oh, dude, like Cole Anthony rotating up so Sims can sink back down, and it ends in another super contested 3. They're
off to the races.
Oh, this is fantastic. Like Sims and Bobby, without even talking to each other, perfectly knowing where they're supposed to be. Jericho Sims seeing Bobby Portis having to take the high guy, doesn't let somebody cut behind him because that's not his zone, goes with him. Cole Anthony, not his zone, but goes with the guy. Now Bobby Portis is playing up, and now they're in almost man-to-man. Except, look at everybody sink back down. Now it's Kuzma and Gary Trent Jr. at the top, Cole Anthony, Bobby Portis, and Jericho Sims on the bottom until it switches again. So there's the foul. But this is so interconnected. This is 5 guys, 4 bench guys, by the way, interconnected on this play. It's so good. So good. And it ends in a contested 3. That mama's the Mia right there.
Hell yeah.
That was I'm not going to say that this is what it means for the end of the season, but that was a championship level defensive possession. And one more defensive possession before we move on. It's a great job by Miles Turner playing the limbo man in between. And after a deflection, they get a steal. So, again, this is good pick and roll defense between Turner and Kuzma for Turner to stay in between Giddey and Vucevic until Kuzma recovers.
And this is where you have to explain to people why Miles Turner is such a good fit with Giannis, being able to play defense like this. You know, I love Brook Lopez, obviously. I love Damian Lillard, obviously. But, like, Miles Turner, taking those 2 off and putting Miles Turner on this team, obviously Kyle Kuzma playing at a high level. They did a really good job with getting a bunch of point guards that can play defense and like to score the ball. All 3 guys like to score first, but this team construction is very well done.
Yeah. And this right now, Miles Turner is guarding 3 people right here.
Yeah.
Until Kuzma recovers. That's a great defensive possession. And then the switch between AJ and Kuzma is also good. And they get a steal out of it. All right. So that's all I got for clips for the Bulls game. Moving on to Bucks and Rockets. Another kind of an annoying game. So this game, the Bucks controlled about, I would say, like 85% of it. They forced 17 turnovers, scored 30 points off of those turnovers. Only 5 of those points off turnovers came in the fourth quarter, though. Honestly, allowing 18 second chance points to the Rockets isn't terrible for the team that's number 1 in the NBA in offensive rebounding. It's not an insurmountable number. And 19 points off turnovers with those 18 second chance points, that stacks up. But 12 of those 19 points off turnovers that the Rockets had came in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to give any thoughts on the game as a whole before we talk about the fourth quarter, because that's where 3/4 of my notes come from.
Yeah, so, I mean, another good game for Giannis, 37-8-3. Miles Turner only took 11 shots. He scored 13 points. He also had 3 blocks and 3 steals, so he was showing effort on both ends of the court. Gary Trent Jr., 3 3-pointers and 2 steals. AJ Green, he had a tough go of it. He was in kind of, after this game, he had a better game against the Mavericks, and we'll get to that game, but he was kind of feeling himself in the first half. But he was in kind of like a little mini 2-game slump, I would say. I mean, what was he against the Bulls? He was 2 for 8, and then now 1 for 5. So you're 3 for 13 from the 3-point line. I would call that a mini slump for a guy who could shoot as good as AJ Green. But he still had 2 steals. Ryan Rollins, 19 points again, and a steal. Bobby Portis with 4 assists, 4 of 4 from the field, and 3 steals. I don't want that to go unnoticed. People give him a lot of slack for those 2 things, not passing the ball and his defense, and he did both of those in this game. He was pretty good in this game, I thought. The Bucks starters shot 53% from the field, 40% from the 3-point line. The bench shot 65% from the field, scoring 34 points, and shot 56% from the 3-point line. The Rockets starters outscored our starters by 3, and their bench outscored our bench by 4. They were 16 of 29 from their bench, 32 of 61 with the starters. What the Bucks did to the Bulls in the fourth quarter, the Rockets did to the Bucks, is the first thing that I wrote down. They won the fourth quarter 40-30. They more so really won this game in the last 4 minutes and 33 seconds as they outscored the Bucks 22-7. And that's where your 85% kind of comes in there.
Yep.
The Rockets shot 15 of 21 from the field and only 2 of 6 from the 3-point line. But one of those shots was a massive shot by Jabari Smith.
Jabari Smith Jr. Yeah. That's a good call.
He had a really big one late in this game that gave them the lead. The Bucks shot 12 of 20, so 60% from the field in the fourth quarter, 3 for 6 from 3. In my opinion, the offense got a little bit too stagnant, which forced some shots. They got forced into some turnovers. They made some silly passes, in my opinion. And you combo both those things happening in the fourth quarter, kind of in line for a loss. It doesn't help that Kevin Durant got going in the fourth quarter. He was kind of on one the entire game anyways, but he was making some tough shots. I mean, he made that patented, what was it? I'll say 11-footer from the left block where he kind of just shoots over the guy who's guarding him. He's just bigger than him, and he just makes shots. And when he made a couple of those, I did like a gulp, and I was like, oh boy, we might be in trouble because KD is locked in right now.
Yeah. So you mentioned the 22-7 run, and you and I talked about this, and you said the Bucks fumbled the game, and I said it felt like the refs caused the fumble, and the Bucks had a chance to recover it, but didn't. Yeah. Starting with Ryan Rollins getting absolutely run over by Kevin Durant, which was somehow not called a charge.
Yeah.
Like, Rollins is outside the restricted circle. He's established. He's got 2 feet down. Kevin Durant runs right into his chest, and instead of it being a charge, it ends up as an and one for Amen Thompson. And following right after that, Gary Trent drives to the basket. Looks like he got hit while shooting a floater. No call. And the next play ends up in 2 free throws for Houston. That cuts the lead to 1 point. Giannis takes a layup versus 3 people, misses it, leads to a dunk for the Rockets. That again cut the lead to 1 point. Rollins hit a big 3, which is credit to him. That's still a clutch shot, even though the Bucks lost. We're going to make sure we give that credit when it's due. Yes. Bucks were up 111-107 and got outscored 15-4 over the final 3 minutes and 44 seconds. Mm-hmm. In that time, the Bucks were called for 4 fouls. 1 of them was intentional. The Rockets were called for 3. 2 of them were basically hack-a-shack fouls on Giannis.
Yes.
We keep seeing the Bucks go against physical teams. We've seen them against the Raptors twice, the Bulls, the Rockets, and it's seeming like the physicality is being allowed to go further on one side than the Bucks are being allowed to play with. We've seen multiple games where Doc is having to challenge stuff that seems obvious, like Şengün driving into Miles Turner, getting called for a block and having to challenge it, and then it being a no call. And even still, some of those calls going against the Bucks, like the challenge that we showed with Josh Giddey running over Kyle Kuzma. It's unfortunate, but during that 22-7 run, I counted 2 missed layups, 4 missed free throws, 3 turnovers, and what I would say 7 bad or questionable calls. So 1 being that no charge, which Doc Rivers said after the game affected the team.
Yeah.
That call not being made. No foul for Gary Trent Jr. Şengün flopping, which the Bucks did win the challenge out, but the Rockets won the jump and got an and one out of it. Şengün pushing Giannis in the back, which I do have a clip of. So this is on the tip in that Giannis is trying to get. He gets called for basket interference, but Watch as Giannis is going up for this. Şengün pushes him in the back, and you can see him go flying. You can see Şengün extending his arm into Giannis's back, and there's no call here.
And Giannis is not a flopper.
He's literally not getting calls because he's not a flopper. But no. Make sure we see the goaltend, but not Şengün extending his arm into Giannis's back.
So we're really going to think that one of the top 5 most athletic people in NBA history is going to fucking fall down off a regular vertical jump? What are we doing here?
Also, Rollins being hit in the arm during a layup attempt with the game tied at 113. I thought that could have been an and one. A missed goaltend, and I have that also. Giannis goes up for a layup. Pretty clear that Amonte Thompson touches it. You can see it kind of change trajectory as it goes off the backboard. Definitely touches the backboard first and then gets touched.
Yeah.
That ball doesn't bounce back in the direction it came from naturally. That's not how physics works. Giannis puts this ball up off the glass, it hits the rim, and then it bounces back towards Ryan Rollins. And the Rockets hack Giannis, and he misses those 2 free throws. This would have tied the game.
Yeah.
But no goaltend called there.
How much time was left? 3 minutes?
A minute and a half.
Oh, dang.
And then you brought this up. Şengün going into the lane early when Giannis is shooting a free throw. When Giannis got called for going into the lane early on a Şengün free throw. So this is one of those things where, if you're calling these fouls, calling these violations, why are they not being called in both directions?
Bro, if you're going to call Giannis for his free throw violation, which they probably could more, let's be honest. They probably could call it more. But if you're going to call him for that in general, then call the people that are going in the lane early.
Yeah. So that bugged me this whole thing. Then you look at the fourth quarter turnovers. The Rockets had 3. The Bucks had 6. That's a controllable thing. Fourth quarter free throws. Rockets were 8 out of 9. Bucks were 3 out of 7. 2 of 6 were attempted by Giannis. The only other one was a free throw. It was a defensive 3 seconds of technical free throw.
Yeah.
That was the only other free throw the Bucks shot in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Cole Anthony was the only Buck besides Giannis to draw a foul in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Giannis drew 3, and Cole Anthony drew 3. That's it. I think there's something to be said for maybe the rest of the team being more aggressive. But like I said, even with Ryan Rollins and Gary Trent Jr., driving and putting up floaters and layups, not getting foul calls, and what looks like guys getting hit on the arms. With that, I think there is an opportunity for them to improve. Doc brought up the ball movement in the post game. You look at the ball movement. The first half, the Bucks assisted on 75% of their made field goals. The second half, it was only 35%.
Yeah.
That is a dramatic drop. Giannis said the game after the game that the ball was sticking a lot. That is something constructive they can work on. So, we try to find ways outside of the refs to control these games, without putting it in the officials' hands. But Doc noted it post game as well, that 20 first half assists, 5 second half assists. That's a big difference. And then Doc said our shooters are trying to be playmakers. I think there is something to be said about guys playing a little bit out of their roles that helped, help the Bucks build a lead versus no fouls being called. So it's a double-edged sword, and right now it feels like the Bucks are being cut by both sides of the sword.
Yeah, that's fair.
Let's go to Monday's game. Bucks Mavericks. What did you take away from this one?
Yeah, this was the game. It was announced today that Giannis will not be playing tonight for anybody who's planning on watching the game. But this is the game that I thought Giannis was maybe going to miss. Second half of the back-to-back. It makes sense to hold your superstars out of these ones, right? But Giannis is a gamer, dude. He is a breath of fresh air for everybody who complains about this era, because he does not act like he's from this era, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Bucks fan. If I wasn't a Bucks fan and I saw the way Giannis carried himself, I would say the same thing. And I know that
prime Shaq clip from the Bulls game.
What was that?
We just had a prime Shaq clip from the Bulls game.
Right. He is a breath of fresh air for people who are, purists, basketball purists, as they like to call themselves, right? So I had to rewatch the game between last night and today because I was at the Packers game. If you didn't know that, you would know that if you watch our episode from last night. So go check that out. I also get clowned by Tyler and Simon during that episode, so you might enjoy that as well. But Giannis, another game with 30 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 11 of 18 from the field. He makes his patented 1 3-pointer with the celebration. He has to do it. He also added 3 blocks and a steal. So, I mean, he's just good. Probably the MVP front runner, in my opinion, right now. Miles Turner, 1 for 7 from the 3-point line, but he still had 14 points, 7 rebounds, a steal and a block. Gary Trent Jr., a steal and a block to go with his 3 points. AJ Green, like I said, he was on one in the first half. There was a couple times where he shot it and it didn't hit the rim, and I was like, oh, boy.
The one that he made, like when the Bucks had 0.4 on the shot.
Yeah, and he went to the right corner.
Fading towards the sun. Cash.
Yeah, that's where I was just like, oh, boy. We might be in for an AJ Green
light.
Yeah, that was crazy. That's why you just let him shoot whatever, right? He also had a steal in this game. Ryan Rollins, 2 3-pointers, 2 steals, a block, 13 points, and dishing out 8 assists as well, helping in the rebounds with 4 rebounds. That's something that's probably a little bit underappreciated with Ryan Rollins' game, his ability to help with the rebounding. Bobby Portis was efficient. Kyle Kuzma, man, making 10 field goals. Kyle Kuzma going 10 for 17, bro. There is a lot of people that owe Kyle Kuzma an apology.
Yeah.
Straight up an apology.
Yeah.
26 points for him. He was phenomenal. Cole Anthony also had a steal. So I wrote down all the steals and blocks from just the starters. The starters had 6 steals and 6 blocks.
Nice.
That's insane. They also scored 73 points, shot 43% from the field, 26 rebounds, 19 assists, and 38% from the 3-point line. The bench did a lot of heavy lifting as they scored 43 points and shot 50% from the field, 5 of 12 behind the 3-point line. The Mavericks overall are just a really bad 3-point shooting team right now, which is insane to think when you think about their roster. I like a lot of players that they have. They got a lot of I'm not going to say that they're all-stars, but they got a lot of good players. I like Gafford, and I know that Derek Lively's their normal starter. Derek Lively's a good player too, but I really like Gafford. I like PJ Washington. PJ Washington and Gafford, if the Mavericks fall out of the playoff race or play-in race, as they're kind of trending the way it goes, if Anthony Davis doesn't get off the bench, dude, I would like either of those guys at the trade deadline, to be honest with you.
They're really good role players.
I like both of them. Gafford would fit in so seamlessly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But the Bucks won the fourth quarter, 37-26, behind Giannis, who had 15 of his 30 points. Bucks were down 13 early in the fourth quarter, but kept battling. Ryan Rollins, who might be the NBA's biggest surprise, gave the Bucks the lead with 17.9 seconds left with a layup. Kuzma then got a steal off of an inbounds pass that was meant for Cooper. I have to say something about this. I don't mean to dogpile on the Lisa Byington, but for her to say after we go up by 3 after the steal by Kuzma, for her to be on the call and say, and Kuzma ices the game, I'm like,
Lisa, it's still a 3-point game.
There's so much time left, Lisa. There's so much time.
It's a one-possession game still.
What are we doing here? But, Milwaukee shot 53.8% from the field, 5 of 9 from 3 in the fourth quarter. This was the biggest difference. Dallas shot 1 for 10 from 3.
Yeah.
They were bad.
Yep.
So you want me to give my quarter-by-quarter stats right now before we do our film breakdown?
You could.
Okay. So I was really interested to see how the Bucks do in the fourth quarter because I keep, that's winning time. That's when people are really interested. That's when games are won and lost, and that was kind of the trend this week as well, right? So I wrote down their fourth quarter stats. And then I wrote down all the quarter stats because I was like, well, I guess while I'm here, the Bucks shoot 50.8% from the field in the fourth quarter, 41% from 3. They score on average 31.7 points, and they're plus 2.5. So with all the non-calls they're getting, injuries that have been, there. I mean, Taurean Prince being out, that's a big rotation guy on the wing.
No, we lost Kuzma for a game.
And lost Kuzma for a game. I mean, we haven't really had Kevin Porter Jr. this year. So, I mean, that's pretty impressive in the fourth quarter to do that. So, second quarter, I wrote down all the quarters. I'm saving the first quarter for last for a reason because they love the first quarter. Second quarter is they shoot 45%, 32% from three. They scored 27.4 points, and they're negative 4.7 points in the second quarters. So second quarter's probably their worst quarter, to be honest with you. Third quarter, they shoot 52%, 40% from three, and they're negative 0.1, and they scored 29.1 points. So third quarter, they come out of halftime with some adjustments. This is credit to Doc. He does a good job. So overall, the second half, they're plus 2.4. So that's really good. First quarters, the Bucks shoot 53.2% from the field, 47% from the three-point line. They average 31.5 points, and they're plus 3.9, dude. They shoot 47% from the three.
That's wild. I think
crazy.
This game actually helped with that because the beginning of this game, Giannis was getting a metric shit ton of attention, and that's Jason Kidd. Like anytime the Bucks play against Jason Kidd, like Giannis is getting a ton of attention.
Yeah.
But guys were knocking down threes. I mean, they started 3 for 7 on threes in this game.
Yep.
I mean, you look at the rest of the team without Miles Turner, who had a rough day of shooting. The rest of the Bucks were 13 of 29 on threes. That's 44.8%.
That's crazy.
You'll see when we get to the film that I have from this game, Dallas played the entire game defensively like this. The whole game. Just patting on the back, pushing, hands on the back, pushing, hands, 2 hands on the back, pushing. Entire game. Now, Giannis came out of the second quarter with a vengeance, had 2 huge dunks over Gafford. One of them was over Gafford and Cooper Flagg, and then blocked Gafford at the rim a couple possessions later. That was awesome. You brought up the fourth quarter turnovers. Giannis had a few. The Mavericks were able to build a 13-point lead, but the Bucks didn't quit on that. They went on an 8-0 run in less than a minute when the Mavericks had that 13-point lead. It took less than a minute, and the Bucks were right back in the game. Giannis had an offensive rebound and a putback dunk to tie the game at 102, forced the Mavericks into a turnover. Giannis hit a 3. Dallas missed a 3. Dallas had a defensive 3 seconds that Ryan Rollins made a free throw off of. Giannis got a layup over 3 people, and the Bucks were up 6. Giannis missed a dunk. It's happened twice this year, but the Mavericks got a 3 out of it that cut the lead to 1. Giannis was making his free throws in this game. That was a difference. Don't love the decision that he made to shoot the 3 when the Bucks were up 1. Cooper Flagg came down, and the Mavericks took the lead off of it until Ryan Rollins, like you said, had a great drive and finish to take the lead back for the Bucks. Kuzma had the steal and slam. They said it could have been a foul for Kuzma grabbing the jersey, but I don't want to hear that shit when I tell you what the free throws were in the fourth quarter. Now, the absolute ridiculous call, the Mavericks still had a chance to tie the game at the end of this game, and we're going to talk about that as well because I have the clip. But fourth quarter, a couple early turnovers, like I said. Rollins cut the game down to 1. Sorry, Rollins got the layup to give the Bucks the lead by 1. I think there's an opportunity for him to work on when to pull the ball out. It's a nitpicky thing, but I think it's an opportunity for him to improve his decision making. But then the fourth quarter, dude, like another game, the game as a whole, where the Mavericks made more free throws than the Bucks attempted. The Mavericks were 31 of 41 from the free throw line. The Bucks were 20 of 25. So even on a day where the Bucks made 80% of their free throws, they were still outscored by 11 at the free throw line. Mm-hmm. And the fourth quarter, let's do second half first. Second half free throws, Mavericks 20, Milwaukee 10. And this is without Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving playing.
Yeah.
So this is like the Pacers game where it's like, this is the hospital Pacers. This is the hospital Mavericks playing without their 2 best players, doubling up the Bucks in free throws in the second half. And then in the fourth quarter, Dallas was 11 for 15. And the Bucks were 4 for 4. 15-4 in a fourth quarter. Now, before we jump into some film here and move on, last week I said I didn't want Kyle Kuzma's role to change. I still don't. However, we might have to entertain starting him, but I think the bench needs his scoring.
I like him on the bench, honestly.
I'm okay with not starting him, but either way, whether he's starting or coming off the bench, he needs to be playing 30 minutes a game.
Yes.
So through 10 games, he is at his second highest plus minus to only the 2019-2020 season when the Lakers won their championship. He's at a career high 55.3% field goal shooting. He's at a career high 85.7% at the free throw line, a career high 26.1% block percentage, his best defensive rating since the 2020-2021 season, a career high true shooting percentage at 64.9%. That's by 10% over his next highest season.
Yeah.
While playing at the highest pace of his career with his year 2 season, while on a career low usage percentage and a career low tying 25 minutes per game. There should not be a single person complaining about Kyle Kuzma. He is doing more with less, and he deserves more minutes. Point blank, period.
Yes.
Now, let's jump into some of the film here, and this is another game where, unfortunately, there's a lot of like, why the hell is this stuff not going the Bucks' way or being called at all? So, this is early in the game. Miles Turner blocks Daniel Gafford, gets called for a foul. Like, the other stuff in this game were like, how is that a foul? That gets called a foul, but now we're going to go to this. This happens later on in the game, but Gafford slaps the shit out of Giannis's hand on this. Slaps the ever-loving shit out of Giannis's hand, and that's not a foul. But Miles Turner gets called this for a foul. Like, these two plays right here just show you like how shafted the Bucks are getting when it comes to foul calling. Like, what are we doing here? Wow. Okay. Now, this is something that happened a bunch of times, too. Daniel Gafford just clearing Ryan Rollins out. Scary Alvarez, welcome back. He said, I've been hard on Kuz, but he's been really nice this fall. There you go. That's all you got to say. Perfectly said.
He's an
I
adult.
get that this is a switch of a bigger man onto a smaller man, but just blatantly just shoving him. There's a ref standing right there. How do you not see him get cleared out? And Giannis blocks him anyways. Like, this too. This is the ref being in the same position, but this time calling the foul. How are you even seeing if there's any contact here? First of all, Giannis is straight up. That's not a foul. But this is being called by the ref behind them. If the ref that's looking directly at this play is not calling a foul, why is the dude on the backside of it calling a foul?
It's a really good question.
He's straight up the whole time. But again, Giannis is not getting these foul calls. Then we get to stuff like this. Remember when we talked about Josh Giddey before? This gets called a foul. This is a super soft bump from a guy who is 6'5" versus a guy who is, 6'8", 6'9". That little bump is called a foul. And let's be honest, this happens way after the shot, that if this ball goes in, this is not being called a foul.
Yeah, it's one of those dumb calls. I hate those, dude.
What is the foul there? Scary asked, do we think this officiating against the Bucks is part of an unwritten wink/nudge in the league to get Giannis out of Milwaukee? It feels severely intentional, if not totally new. I would say it feels like that. Whether how thick you want to put on your tinfoil hat or not. I mean, it's absolutely what it feels like.
I will say,
drives, gets knocked to the floor, no foul call. Immediately coming down. There's no cuts here. This is literally all in the same possession. Cooper Flag gets knocked down and gets a foul call.
I'm going to respond to Scary real quick. I will say the fact that other people from other fan bases are saying the same thing, I don't think that it's a conspiracy anymore. They know that Shams was making shit up all summer long, and then now they're like, oh, that didn't work? Yeah, we're not going to give you a whistle this year, buddy. And Giannis is still out there putting up Wilt Chamberlain-like efficiency scoring numbers.
Yeah. Now, again, remember the Josh Giddey play. Josh Giddey was not called for a foul for bumping Giannis with his hip and causing Giannis to lose the ball. But Giannis is called for a foul right here. There is at the very bare minimum a wild inconsistency with how the Bucks are being officiated versus how their Bucks opponents are being officiated. How is that a foul? But Josh Giddey bumping Giannis isn't. Not to mention that Najee Marshall is significantly larger than Josh Giddey.
Dude, just gave me an idea. We should be taking stats and like film, because this will be the second game tonight where Giannis isn't playing, and seeing how many fouls they get shafted on compared to when he plays.
I bet it's not different. I bet it's a team thing.
You think so? Okay.
Now, again, this happened multiple times. PJ Washington is going to push the shit out of Ryan Rollins, and there's no call. How is the ref standing right there not seeing that? Happens right in front of their face. PJ Washington extends his arm and pushes Ryan Rollins. Like, it's blatant push. Like, how does it happen right in front of your face? And nothing is called. Then, like I said, we have another clip of Kyle Kuzma playing what I think is really good defense and getting called for a blocking foul. Mm-hmm. How is this not a charge? How is that not established defensive position and a player control offensive foul?
I don't know. That's pretty good defense, if you ask me.
That's Kuzma standing his ground defensively and an offensive player going through him. He's not in the restricted circle. He's not reaching. Like, there's no way that this should be a defensive foul. So the second time in a week that Kuzma got called for this, unfortunately. Now, this one, this is insane. This is insane. You can see Giannis is pissed. He even says, "Oh my God," after that clip. Like, PJ Washington grabs the shit out of his arm. How is that not a foul? You can see it grabbing the shit out of his arm. Nope, that's just a loose ball.
I don't know. Legal guarding position, I suppose.
Apparently it's legal guarding position to grab a guy by the arm and pull. Then, this again, not called a push. Ryan Rollins gets pushed to the ground 3 times in this game, and it's not called a foul 1 time for a power forward pushing a point guard.
That's fully extended arms.
Fully extended arms, which is the Dallas Mavericks style of defense, apparently.
Jesus Christ, they block better than the fucking
right in front of a ref.
Jesus.
So we get that. Then we get Giannis driving. Marshall just completely just pushing him with his shoulder. So we've seen bump fouls called on the Bucks. We're going to see right after this another foul called on the Bucks. So that's not a foul. Leads to a block and a loose ball that the Mavericks recover. That's not a foul. But this is a foul. This is less of a bump than Josh Giddey put on Giannis. This is less of a bump than Najee Marshall just put on Giannis on the previous clip, driving to the basket. There's less contact here on AJ Green. And people are like, oh my God, AJ Green's in foul trouble a lot. Because he's getting dumb shit like this called fouls against him. AJ Green has had some dog shit blocking fouls called against him.
Yes, he has.
For beating guys to the spot.
Yes.
Also, this by Kyle Kuzma is not a foul. This is D'Angelo Russell flailing, trying to get a call that he gets bailed out by. Again, this happens right in front of the ref. Where is there a foul here? He's barely touching him, and Russell tries to wrap around him and then falls to the ground. This is not a foul. And again, called after the fact that if this had gone in somehow, would not have been called a foul. If it's not a foul if he misses, it should not be a foul if he makes it. Like, it's...
Bro, these are the foul calls that when you play your brother... When you play your brother in the driveway and he calls a foul on this, these are the ones that you and your brother fight. I'm serious, dude.
in an open gym, you go somewhere and you call this foul, nobody in the gym respects you again. And it's a pretty blatant flail too. Like, there's no foul there. Like, what are we doing?
That's good defense.
Now, let's switch gears for a second. And I want to give Ryan Rollins some credit. Like I said, I think there's an opportunity for him to learn when to pull a ball out. This would be one of them. But then he does stuff like this. So it's like, okay, maybe we need to live with him getting blocked once in a while. Because these are two really good buckets. One of them is in the fourth quarter, and this one is in the closing seconds of the game. So it's like, that's two really tough buckets. He gets blocked at the rim here. He's had a couple turnovers driving towards the baseline. So it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, you don't want to tell Ryan Rollins to be less aggressive and not get these two buckets because you're trying to avoid him getting blocked or having an occasional turnover. Right. So there's a fine line there, and that's Doc Rivers' job, and it's not an easy one.
Yeah, you don't want to overcoach him either. I mean, like I said last week, he's done a really nice job when teams have gone on runs, you know, whether it be a 4-0 run, a 6-0 run, an 8-2 run. He's done a nice job being the guy to get downhill, get a layup so that the Bucks can get right. Like a get right layup, like, hey, let's go. Yeah. We're scoring again. Let's get we saw the ball go through the basket.
Yeah. So now we're going to go to a situation here where this could have easily been an and one. We've seen multiple bumps, little hip bumps like this, like that, called fouls. Not for Giannis, but twice for the Mavericks. Once against Giannis and once against AJ Green. That little hip bump foul. Not called for Giannis. That could have been an and one. That hip bump is not being called for the Bucks. We've seen two examples of it not called for the Bucks today in the clips from all three games, but two clips just from this game of the bump being called against the Bucks, and two clips now of them not being called for the Bucks.
Yeah.
But this gets called a foul for PJ Washington. Sure. A significantly smaller bump called a foul for PJ Washington on a call that Giannis does not get.
If
Giannis
nothing
is
else,
absolutely not getting a foul call there.
If nothing else, it's the same amount of contact.
Then you get to Giannis, who's going against three people, and I get, not wanting to bail out a guy who's going 1-on-3, but how do you see this much contact versus a guard, a small forward, and a center? All of these arms, and there's nothing? Nothing.
He still scores.
Like, there's no fouls there? That also could have been an and one. This.
Honestly, Giannis just needs to start flexing on people, bro. Like that ass.
Then we get to this. How this too, like the Russell Westbrook thing, when you grab a guy around the neck shoulder area, how is it not a flagrant foul? He literally, he's going to fall down, but Gafford also pulls him down by the shoulder. We're just letting people grab Giannis by the shoulders now, too? How long before somebody tests their luck and grabs Giannis by the shoulders while he's about to go up in the air and pulls him down backwards?
Bro, they're literally going to go away from, okay, well, he's not giving in to all the fouls. Now we're just going to hurt him.
That I fucking hope that's not where this season ends.
I hope not either. I'm not trying to say that knock on wood, but
yeah,
it feels that way. It feels like it's trending that way.
And then, so it's either that or we're just going to keep getting this dumb shit happening, like the Bucks being up by 3, a loose ball coming, and PJ Washington getting a foul call while putting up a prayer of a shot. And the thing with this is, we've seen Miles Turner called for a hand on the ball, blocking the ball. We've seen Gafford smack the shit out of Giannis's hand with no call. Now we're seeing Giannis block a shot, touch his hand after, and PJ Washington, which you can see better on the first angle, swing his left arm towards Giannis right here. Giannis is up there, and PJ Washington's left hand is on Giannis's arm. This could have easily been called an offensive foul, in my opinion.
I mean, they called it against Gary Trent Jr. against the Kings.
Yeah. I mean, Gary Trent Jr. got called for an offensive foul at the beginning of this game.
He did.
Granted, it was a foot, not an arm, but P.J. Washington's arm here, his left arm is on Giannis' shoulder. I don't have a zoom in button or I would use it, but I mean, what the fuck? That this gets called a foul. And P.J. Washington gets a chance to shoot 3 free throws. And the basketball gods don't bail him out the way that the refs tried to. But that's a block. That's a clean block.
Bro, do you know how mad Adam Silver is going to be if Giannis leads this Bucks team to a title? Do you know how mad? How mad is ESPN going to be? How mad is Stephen A. Smith and Kendrick Perkins and Shams? How mad are all those people going to be?
Brian Windhorst.
I don't even consider that guy a journalist, to be honest with you.
Unfortunately, I agree. I think he's more of an influencer than a journalist.
Yeah. That guy got on his chubby knees and begged LeBron to carry him to ESPN.
There's a reason why people call him Windbag.
Yeah.
So the Bucks play tonight against Charlotte. The game starts in about 45 minutes. They play Friday against Charlotte at home. They play Saturday against the Lakers, and then they play Monday at Cleveland. So we will have 4 Milwaukee Bucks games next week. Scary said they won't let it happen, guys. I mean, Giannis is playing as dominant as he was last year through 11 games. The Bucks were 2-9. So this year through 10 games are 7-3. So there could be much worse things. Seems like they figured some stuff out in the offseason. Doc Rivers has been better than he was at the end of last season. Kyle Kuzma has been better than he was at the end of last season. The title. Yeah, that's what we meant.
Yeah, I know. We knew what you meant, but hey, Gary Trent Jr. hasn't even been on fire yet this season. He could catch fire. AJ Green can go on a streak for about 2.5 weeks where he goes crazy. We haven't even seen Kevin Porter Jr. with this new look offense and defense yet.
Yep.
It's possible. I'm just saying the East is wide open. I don't think the Knicks are that good. And all the media talked about coming into the season was, oh, is New York going to go to the finals? Are they finally going to make it to the finals? The Cavs are beatable, in my opinion, with this new look team. I think the Bucks have as good of a shot as anybody.
Yeah, and the Magic are not impressing anybody.
No.
They were supposed to be a top 3 seed.
Yeah, the only team that there was a lot of people that predicted them to be the 1 seed. They were thinking that Paolo Banchero was going to take that jump and lead them to the 1 seed.
Yeah. Scary said, I like this team for sure. It's the forces fighting against the Bucks I'm referring to. Yeah, it's if officiating keeps going this way, it's been 10 games, so we are 1/8 into the season. If it continues like this into December, like the Bucks are already sending tape to the league, which I appreciate them for doing.
Yes.
But it's egregious. Like Jake said, if other teams are pointing out that, or other teams' fans are pointing out, like, hey, the Bucks are getting a really uneven whistle, like, the NBA is going to have like an angry mob outside their gates, with torches and pitchforks. Like,
yeah,
that's the Twitter equivalent of what's happening right now. All right. So we're going to switch to Badgers basketball. We're going to bring Mike in, getting to him a little bit late. Sorry about that, Mike, but welcome back.
That's it.
Sticking with basketball, we're going to jump into the Badgers win over Northern Illinois. Mike, I'm going to let you go first. Welcome. And what did you take away from the guards against Northern Illinois?
I mean, this is not even just the guards, but even just team-wise. The first thing that stands out to you is the fast start in comparison to the Campbell game. Like, it was complete night and day in terms of how both games started off. I mean, Nick
Put
Boyd,
a pin in that for next game, too.
yeah, for sure. But I mean, even going from game 1 to game 2, biggest difference by far, what was the fast start. I mean, they got off to a 12-2 lead, shooting 5 of 6 collectively as a team. It was led by Nick Boyd, who had a career high. He had 25.
I love Nick Boyd's like attitude, like swagger that he plays with.
Oh yeah. That's definitely going to be talked about. In 27 minutes, 25 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. Right out of the gate, he made a beautiful pass to Andrew Rohde for the opening 3. And it was like clockwork. I expect that to happen quite a bit this year. There's still a lot of camaraderie that needs to be worked out with this team, but they got guys that can see the court real well, a lot of good vision, especially with the starting 5. I think it's going to, help immensely. But yeah, as far as Nick Boyd goes, I mean, within the first 3 minutes, he had 7 points, 1 assist, and 1 steal in the first 3 minutes. So this dude was on a mission in this game for sure. He had 20 points in the first half. So even in the first half, he made his mark. So kind of what Tyler alluded to. No matter the crowd size. I mean, even in the Kohl Center, he loves getting the crowd into it. His energy is contagious. I mean, I think obviously his scoring is good, his passing is good, he can get to the hole good. But I mean, he just brings that constant energy. Whether it's to get the crowd fired up or his teammates as well. So he had a career day, and props to him. And doing it and going into Jack Janicki, he's doing Jack Janicki things. He did get 21 minutes this game. 2 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and 3 steals. So just slowly but surely chipping away. And then Hayden Jones got a little more playing time this game too. He got 11 minutes, 5 points, and 1 rebound. And I guess even too collectively, I'm going to talk more long-term picture when we get past the Ball State game. But one of the biggest call-outs I personally loved in this game too defensively, Badgers were able to force 17 turnovers in this game, which is pretty impressive. And 7 of which were steals, which was nice. So, props to these guys. And, we're moving on to the next one.
To your point, they forced 4 turnovers in the first 4 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
It's a big catalyst for the for the fast start, like you said. I think John Blackwell on the wing did his best work inside the 3-point line, mainly his driving and finishing, either with a layup or a mid-range. He finished with 15 points on 4 of 8 shooting. Didn't shoot any threes and was 7 of 8 at the free throw line. He had 6 rebounds and a steal. Did get called for some really soft fouls, so he had a little bit of foul trouble that cost him some playing time in the first half. But Andrew Rohde, like you said, started the game with a 3. I really like his motor. He was 2 for 4 on threes on the night. He scored 8 points. I think there's an opportunity for him to potentially improve for his off-ball defense, but I'm going to continue to praise him for his on-ball defense. He had another on-ball steal in this game. And then Braden Carrington, I really love his driving and cutting ability. He only had 4 points. He was 1 for 5 from the field, but I really like his skill set. And I'm glad that I wrote that down in my notes from the Northern Illinois game, because when we get to Ball State, I get to expand on that much more. So overall, I think the defense was locked in from the jump, which was great to see. The all-bench unit was a little sloppy. Even when the Badgers weren't playing their best, the lead never got under 17. And then I love how deep the front court is. So, Jake, talk about the big men.
Yeah, so you got Rapp. He played 30 minutes. He had 8 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. He's a better rebounder than I gave him credit for. I'll say that right now. Nolan Winter played 26 minutes, 12, 7, and 1. He had 2 blocks. Rapp also had a block. Bielauskis, he's a big man. He's a big body. 15 minutes for him, 8 points, 4 rebounds, and an assist. And Andrew, is his name Andrew? Andrew Garlock, right? Is his name Andrew? I don't remember if his name's Andrew.
Oh, which one?
Garlock. Is his first
Andrew
name?
is Rohde.
No, Andrew
Garlock.
Garlock. Sorry.
Okay. Well, anyways, he had 13 points, 5 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. So in total, the big man, 33 points, 19 of the 36 rebounds, 7 of the 14 assists, and they had 3 blocks. They controlled the paint. They did a really nice job that way. The Badgers, big men are good. I think their big men are good. I'm going to have something to say after the Ball State game. Tyler and I had a discussion, and I agree with Tyler. So let's get to the Ball State game.
All right. Mike, what did you take away from the guards from Ball State last night?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely it wasn't. I don't think it was quite as good as terms of a performance. I know we have ourselves a high standard, and I'm comparing in terms of like Nick Boyd. I'm going to start with him a little bit. We did get off to a fast start again, which is great, but we did get into a couple of those slow spurts, right? But as far as I'll start with Nick Boyd, he had 12 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. 3 turnovers, which wasn't necessarily the greatest night for him. He was 5 of 12 shooting, 5 of 12 from shooting, on 2 of 7 from the 3-point line. The one thing that I did want to call out with him in this game was I don't think we can. Once we start playing good teams, I don't want to see a stat line to show Nick Boyd had 0 assists. That did not happen, and I think it kind of. When you see someone like a John Blackwell only taking 6 shots, I think I'm talking that's going to be kind of – I'm going to go into the long-term picture. I'll get to that eventually. But I think that kind of like correlates a little bit in some retrospect. But, I mean, it wasn't a terrible night. I mean, we beat Ball State by 30 freaking points, right? So, No, but because I went back to it before, this team can be very elite at passing. Not just Boyd, but we talked about Rhodey. Rapp looked great. I know Jake talked
Carrington,
about Rapp.
all the big men. I mean, all of them really.
Yeah. In terms of like passing, like
Yeah.
the sky's the limit with this freaking team if it all clicks. Like
Right.
in terms of visuals and all that. But yeah. So 12 shots, 0 assists, can't do that. But Jack Janicki, 21 minutes, 2 of 5 shooting, 5 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Once again, Mr. Jack of all trades, doing Jack things. And he's averaged 20 plus minutes the last couple of games, so that's definitely interesting. So his time's looking like it's going to tick quite a bit this year, especially with Greg Gard playing 11, 12 players the last few games. So as we get into Big Ten play, I'm curious to see what that time kind of looks like for him. Is it going to really stick around 20 minutes, or might it even go up a little bit because he's playing this many guys already? But and then leading up to Hayden Jones to close this out, he had 15 minutes, 2 assists. In 15 minutes, he had 2 assists, 1 rebound, and 2 turnovers. He's still, in my view, I think Hayden Jones is still kind of figuring it out as he should. He's a true freshman. He's got decent vision. But I do think going forward, one thing to monitor is athletically, skill-wise, I'm not sure if he's a true point guard. I really got to see what he can do from an athletic standpoint. I don't know this year anyway if he's going to be able to come in and be a true backup point guard to Nick Boyd. And again, I'll get into that in my long term after we're done talking here. But I do think at the end of the day, once Greg Gard does start to cut down this, like the minutes and whatnot, I do think it's going to be an 8-9 man rotation, and Hayden Jones is going to be the 10th guy, at least what I'm looking at right now. And I don't really see him doing too much, but I'm curious to see how he can progress from an athletic standpoint.
Yeah. You kind of alluded to it already, but John Blackwell, the Badgers won by 31 points while giving John Blackwell the night off, basically. Jake's going to talk about the big men and the size advantage that they had, but he only took 6 shots. They were all threes. He made 2 of them, made both of his free throws, finished with 8 points, 5 rebounds, 3 of them offensive rebounds. 4 assists, a steal, did have 3 turnovers, which the Badgers, the team, had 15 is too many. I think part of that is a little bit of credit to Ball State. They went to a zone defense towards the end of the first half, and the Badgers struggled with it a little bit. So there's an opportunity for the Badgers, who only have 1 game next week, to work on some zone defense stuff. That said, Andrew Rhodey, I'm going to continue to sing his praises for his on-ball defense. He knocked down a pair of threes, had 10 efficient points on 4 of 7 shooting. And then Braden Carrington, him coming in and playing with energy, it kicked off a big run for the Badgers. He got a steal, led to a putback dunk by Nolan Winter. Then he scored 5 straight points himself. That was part of a 12-0 Badgers run. So I love the energy that Braden Carrington came in. That put the Badgers up by 32 points, that 12-0 run. Braden Carrington as a total had 12 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. Just a really good job by Braden Carrington. I'm really enjoying his skill set. Jake is going to talk about Greg Gard leading fully into a 4-man rotation, and I just love the way that all 4 of them are complementing each other.
Yeah, so first of all, I love Carrington. I love his hustle. He plays really, really hard, so I appreciate that about him as well. Tyler, that's one thing that we always talk about is people that play hard. That's one thing that we instantly attract to with players. Like, oh, this guy's playing really hard. He's hustling. He's diving on the floor. Yep, I like that guy. That guy's one of my favorite players now. But talking about the 4-man rotation is really interesting because usually, on basketball teams, you have like a 3-man rotation with the big men, right? This guy will play with this guy a little bit, stagger your 2 starters a little bit. But first, going back to the ball movement was elite. And you could tell it's elite when your 4th big man has 3 assists. Garlock had 3 assists. That's insane. He didn't score again, but he had 2 rebounds. He's a work in progress. I think he has a lot of potential, man. I like the idea of him in this offense over the next couple of years. So Bielowskis, talk about him. So when I was talking to Tyler, I don't even remember when we were having this conversation. Last night, maybe the day before. We were talking about it. He had 6, 8, and 1. He had 2 blocks, by the way. Talking about him, and I was like, the one thing that I worry about this team is they don't really have like a defensive stopper, like at the big man position. And I worry about that going into Big Ten play, where when you need to get a stop, because you have your rotations. Like, this is my 3-point shooting lineup. This is my free throw shooting lineup. This is my offensive lineup. This is, you yada yada yada, et cetera, et cetera. They don't have a guy that they could put in there who's just like, yes, this guy, if you try to go against him, he will put his hands up and you are running into a brick wall. And Tyler, I was rewatching some things today and I was like, you know what? I can see where he's coming from with Bielauskas. He suggested that maybe he's the guy that could become that defensive center. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to start watching it a little bit closer now. We're going to have a really
he
good
went like this, a two-hand volleyball spiked a block in the first half. I'm like, all right, he's got some defensive dog in him.
He's going to have a big test actually on Thanksgiving is the day that we end up playing BYU. Our rematch with them is actually on Thanksgiving, I believe, 27th.
I think it's next week Friday, isn't it, on the 21st? Or no?
No, it's
I only have written down through next Wednesday, so I can't help.
I'm pretty sure it's on Thanksgiving, brother.
I'll look. I'm going to look.
If it's not, then I apologize.
No, keep going.
The big man overall, the 4-man rotation, they scored 36 points. They grabbed 22 of the 45 rebounds, so they almost out-rebounded Ball State by themselves. Ball State had 25 rebounds. They had 9 assists, so they had the big men had literally the same amount of assists as Ball State did, which is insane. And they had 8 blocks. That's pretty good. 3 blocks from Rapp. He had a steal as well. Winter had 3 blocks. So I got one last thing. I was looking at it, and I was like, Jesus Christ, man, we scored so many points. First game, 96. Second game, 97. Third game, 86. And then we're giving up 64, 72, 55 on average. So we've scored 279 points. I want to know what's the most points that they've scored to start a season. Like the first 5 games, first 3 games. 279 points is a lot of points to start a season with. So that's an average of 93 points per game. And then they're on average giving up 64 points per game. So we're averaging winning by 30 right now. Now, opponents take them into consideration, but that's crazy. 30-point wins is crazy on average.
I think I saw on Twitter last night that the Badgers 3 games of 86 plus in the first 3 games is the first time in like 50 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
We're
wondering.
trying to hit 90, but obviously we didn't. I know 90 was a big call out too.
Yeah.
But Tyler was right. It's a long one.
And I think for me, what a big part of it was the Badgers in the first half, they were 6 of 23 on threes. The second half, they were 8 of 15 on threes.
Yes.
That'll help you pull away.
That helps.
All right. So I know Mike's got some overarching stats. The Badgers have 1 game between now and next Wednesday. On Monday, they play Southern Illinois Edwardsville. So, Mike, is there anything else you want to say about Badger basketball?
Yeah, the BYU game is on the 21st next week. I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
So at 3:00 in the afternoon. So everyone's going to have to leave work early to watch these guys on Peacock too.
Say less.
You know that too, brother.
Yeah, there you go. It's right before the Utah Jazz's night game, I guess. So that's why they're starting it early or whatever. No, I mean, big picture, off to a pretty good start, right? I'm going to say first off, I absolutely love Andrew Rohde's game. That's kind of like how I play in his way. You take good shots, you play hard defense, you communicate with all your teammates about what's going on, right? You be a facilitator, and you're being a facilitator as well. I do think as Greg Gard lowers this rotation, and Rohde did play a little bit of it last night. He did play a little bit of the 1. I do think ultimately he is going to be that position for us at times with just being a straight facilitator. And I do see times where even when the starting 5 might be up there, I think I could see Greg Gard just like saying, hey, let's have Rohde bring the ball down for a little bit and set up, Nick Boyd as a scoring guard. That's kind of like, I don't know. I could just see it because Rohde with his intelligence on the floor and whatnot, I could definitely see him be more a facilitator going forward and kind of being the backup point guard if needed. But no, I guess in terms of the whole like Boyd Blackwell situation, I am a little curious as to how that is going to be because last night it didn't worry me or anything like that. But I hope we don't go another game where Nick Boyd goes in, does his thing, 12 points, 1 rebound, 3 turnovers. But we only gave John Blackwell 6 shots. All 6 were threes. And, I watched this game as close as anybody else. Those weren't easy threes that he put up either. They were right in dudes' faces. It wasn't it wasn't necessarily easy for him to come by. So I'm just curious to see how that pairing is going to look going forward. Yeah, exactly. Scary call.
Yeah, Scary dropped a couple comments saying, I want to win over BYU as much as any of the Big Ten games. They're a despicable program who robbed us of happiness in March. And then to say that Boyd had 0 assists last night was interesting, if an anomaly. I think it's more of an anomaly. I think part of that, too, is, like I said, the Badgers being 6 of 23 on threes in the first half. I think that's also an anomaly. I think if the Badgers make just a few more of those, that Nick Boyd's going to end up with a couple assists.
Yeah, no, that was just one big call up then for sure. I mean, and can we run? I don't know if this is just me. Do the Badgers have a legitimate out of bounds play when they get the ball down low? It seems like every time they take the ball out of bounds, like they're always at the 4 second clock, and somebody's got to lob it, try to get to a big man, or they got to chuck it all the way back
over to half court,
and somebody's got to like catch it over the defender. It seems like it's that every time, and then there's that handoff if it's open. If they get it to the big guy, it seems like it's that 9.5 times out of 10. Like that just drives me nuts.
I will say that's one thing, talking about the Bucks, that's one thing that I don't think Bucks fans appreciate about Doc Rivers. His out of bounds plays are fucking elite, dude.
Yeah.
They're so good.
Yeah, and I still want the Badgers to play a little bit closer to the basket. I still think at times they're getting a little bit too far away from the three-point line when they're running their offense. I think that makes it a little bit harder to be dangerous. It makes it a little bit harder to punish guys going under screens and handoffs.
Right. Yeah, you allow people to get back, with running longer angles too. So
And even transition defense too was the one call out too.
Yeah,
I know Ball State and even Northern Illinois got a lot of their points.
They had like 26,
we had 24 missed threes, which is fine. We still ended up shooting, I think, 36% or something like that overall from three. But it's defending those 24 missed threes that does concern me because Ball State definitely got a handful of buckets in transition last night based off of those missed threes. So that's just something to monitor going forward. I mean, I talked about it since we've had the freaking primer. So just something to monitor going forward.
All right. Let's jump into Badgers football. We've been doing abbreviated recaps and previews. And let's start. Actually, I'm going to let Mike go first on the offense and talk about the run game.
Yeah, so, I mean, there is a little bit that you're seeing, especially in the Oregon-Washington games. There's definitely some consistency with not just I think the O-line as well. Jacob will attest to that. But, I mean, Gideon Atuka is a Big Ten running back, boys. I truly do think that. I mean, 19 carries, 73 yards, 14 for a long. His first carry of the game, it was a pitch from Danny O'Neal, and he literally goes and runs two dudes over right away, right at the line of scrimmage as well. He didn't have there wasn't too much help. He had to break through those tackles to pick up like that 10-yard gain I think he got right off the bat. This dude runs through people, and he runs really, really hard. He's come, for getting thrown into the fire for two straight games. He's definitely got a future at Wisconsin. I hope he sticks around because he's building that. There's that consistency again. And I think the same thing with the O-line. They're starting to build some consistency too. But no, Gideon Atuka once again. He's showing why he can play at this level. Runs hard between the tackles, and I think you're going to see him a lot again on Saturday against Indiana. Between him and I don't know if Darian Dupree, I don't know about his health status, but he did get 3 carries for 6 yards. Jackson Aker was clutching a couple moments. I'll let you guys talk about him in a little bit, but I'm curious to see if they're going to give him the ball a little more, maybe a couple more carries at Indiana. I mean, he's reliable. I would say all 3 of these guys are reliable, right, as long as they're healthy. So, I'm curious to see how that works out on Saturday. But, no, another consistent performance specifically by Gideon Atuka.
So Mike asked in the before the show started if he could cover Carter Smith as a rusher, as a running back. I said no because then I wouldn't have anything to talk about. Danny O'Neal started the game, got hurt at an RPO run. Carter Smith comes in, and they run the exact same play, and it works again. So good job up front. Jason talked about the O-line, but we got to see Carter Smith. He sure can run. The leading passer on the day was Sean West, who was 1 for 1 for 24 yards as our punter. Also, the leading receiver on the day was Jackson Aker, our fullback / tight end. and the Badgers still beat number 24 Washington 13-10. And if you factor in special teams where there was a blocked punt and a missed field goal, Wisconsin could have won this game 16-3 or 16-6. Bad luck for Indiana for Washington, but Jake can talk about the whole line.
Yeah. So first thing I'm going to say is they did their job, and they played with a ton of pride. They were getting absolutely mauled the first couple of weeks of this season. Injuries, moving people around. That's tough. They played, I believe it was, 4 different starting lineups in the first 5 games or something like that. With rotating centers. We played 3 different centers. We played a bunch of different people at guards. I mean, we're been flipping everything around. It's been a wild year up front, wild year for Badgers football. But playing with the amount of pride that they're playing, they blocked hard, man. I'm really proud of how this unit has come together, and they're playing for the W now. It doesn't seem like they're playing for the name on the backplate anymore. It really feels like to me they're playing for the W now. And you could tell the difference in the mood shift and the attitude change that's kind of come over this team, starting with the Oregon game. Obviously, they lose that game. It was pretty tough. You have the bye week. It's loud. It was a noisy bye week. You come into this game, it's noisy. People are saying fire. McIntosh has some crazy comments. Fickle is still getting told to F off, basically. He ditches the vest, and he does make it actually about the team. Not just wearing it on his back, but he is actually about the team. And the team is responding, and I'm so proud of them, man. I really just want to give them all the flowers because they could have just quit easily. They could have just quit, gave up. And to Mike's point, they're still bowl eligible.
Yes. Last week. That's right. Yeah.
Still bowl eligible this week, boys. So I want to go into the D-line now. I cannot say enough good things about this unit. They have been the most consistent unit all year. They have been dominating in the last couple of weeks, allowing these freshmen who have come out of nowhere and are just flying around to the football, smacking heads, cashing checks. I mean, they're going crazy. But up front, they're doing an amazing job with gap responsibility and playing with real strength, holding Washington, who was averaging over 400 yards. And my goal last week was to hold them to 300 yards and give yourself a chance. They held them to 251. 36 rush attempts for Washington, 3.3 yard average, 117 rush yards. I don't want to hear shit about the fucking weather because both teams had a play in it. I don't want to hear shit about injuries because I've seen Washington fans commenting on the Badgers stuff saying, oh, one of our wide receivers got hurt and our star running back got hurt. Guess what, buddy? If you want to go into the injury comments, we're going to win, sadly.
We've played 4 different quarterbacks.
We played 4 different running backs.
3 different centers.
5. We did play a walk-on at Oregon. We did. We gave him a carry. We have got 5.
I don't want to hear about injuries. I don't want to hear about the weather. I'm sick and tired of that. Those are excuses. This game was won with guts and heart, and I am proud of this team. I seriously am. I am proud to be a Badgers fan right now. Now, there was weeks where it was tough, and the offense wasn't moving the ball. And, we had 24 passing yards from a fucking punter. But this team and this defense is competing, and I love it. I love this so much.
It feels like a true upset, not like a fluky kind of, Washington just, fumbled the ball 4 times or threw 3 interceptions or had balls tipped out of their receivers' hands. Like,
yes.
It was a dominant Badgers defensive performance, and a big piece of it goes to the linebackers, who 3 starting freshman linebackers. Cooper Catalano and Mason Posa were already starting, but add Tymus Hayberger to that mix. Posa and Catalano were fantastic near the line of scrimmage. Like Jake said, the D-line basically allowing them to fly around to the ball. It's awesome to see. Cooper Catalano had 19 tackles.
Tell me you guys do not get Chris Borland vibes watching a 44 run around cracking skulls, dude. Come on now.
Of course.
Those 19 tackles were the most since 2011 and the most by a freshman since 1995.
God
Was Mike Taylor the linebacker in 2011? The one that you're referring to? Do you know? I'm just curious. Or was that?
I don't know exactly who it is. I just saw that it was the most since 2011 and the most since 95.
I think it's one of those two guys. I want to say Mike Taylor or Chris Borland, probably.
It could have been Borland. It very well could have. I'd have to go look at the game logs and stuff. But maybe while you're talking about the secondary, I can go look at game logs quick. But watching Mason Posa talk post-game, who had 10 tackles of his own and was credited with 2.5 sacks, said, quote, "Me and Cooper are going to be here for a while." He wasn't prompted about it. He said that on his own.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear it's great until they transfer out in 2 months. Mason Posa, from the horse's mouth, said that him and Cooper are going to be here for a while.
Yeah, they're hunkering down, and they're ready to win.
And I like it, too, because, like, Ryan Hopkins, a quarterback recruit for 2026, is saying similar things that, like, hey, we have guys around here that are not shying away from the adversity. And this was after McIntosh said that Fickle's going to be back for 26. So, like, there's plenty of guys out there that aren't running from the struggle or running from the adversity or, seeing, like, Wisconsin as this terrible rebuilding program. Like, there's guys that want to be part of putting Wisconsin back on the college football landscape, which is awesome, starting with Mason Posa and Cooper Catalano.
Hell yeah.
So, Mike, how did you feel about the secondary?
I mean, I said it for the goals last week, or was it 2 weeks ago when we talked? It was last week. Going into this game, I wanted to see senior leaders step up in this game. Guess what? The secondary, the senior guys did step up in this game, or senior-ish. Starts with Rico Holman. Our boy got a big-time interception, 4 tackles, 1 big interception. That was the ball the greatest from Damon Williams? No, but at the end of the day, Rico did his job. He caught it right in his breadbasket. Big turnover. After he caught it, he took his helmet off. He was celebrating with the crowd and everything. That was pretty cool. It shows his heart, right? At the end of the day, he wants to be here. He's playing, as Jake said, for the W on his helmet. You can tell. Yeah, he's one of many that I think still want to be here on this team. So props to Rico. I know he hasn't had necessarily the best year. I know I've called him out on it a couple times as well. But no, that was a nice bounce back, and hopefully he can finish the year off strong. Deani Hill, I also wanted to call out in this game. He had a big game. His first big game back from injury. He was out the last 2-3 games. 5 tackles, and two of those were for tackles for loss. So big game on his end, and he had a big tackle specifically at the last possession of Washington. It was on the second down play when Damon Williams dumped it off to Jonah Williams, I think the running back, and he just stuck him for a 2-3 yard loss. So that was a big call up there. And then I also wanted to give one more guy a shout out, Matt Young, actually, junior from Nina. He did a 4 total tackles, but I wanted to call out his deep coverage, actually, because there was one instance, it was in the third quarter, where I think it was Washington's stud wide receiver, Boston, I forget his last name. I got to bring it up. But no, he ran like a flag route, actually, to the corner. And Matt Young, he was like right on him. And thank God he kept his arms off him. Like it was like one of those like, oh, should I throw the flag? Should I throw the flag or not? It was one of those deep balls that they threw. It was like a 40-yard bomb. But
it was a really good no call.
Yeah, it was a very good no call. No, I just wanted to give him a quick shout out too, because I know that safety room has been struggling a little bit too, especially without Preston Zachman. But no, collectively we held Damon Williams in check. I mean, in comparison to his Big Ten stats this year, 20-32, 134 yards total, 1 touchdown, which was only from 1 yard out, and 1 interception, right? So pretty much this game, if you want to take like their turnover away and our turnover away, we would have won the game 9-3, I think it was, with the missed field goal, right? So if we're really going to take turnover, if we're going to subtract the turnovers, getting those close touchdowns, we still win the game 9-3 or so. So it was a defensive battle. Good energy. I mean, shit, that was the first time I've been at the edge of my couch watching play after play, like at the edge of my seat. First time in a while. It feels good to win. I almost forgot. It was kind of like a couple of the players said after the game, even Coach Vic, sometimes you forget about what winning feels like. You're just so numb to it. And you guys know damn well a couple of the games earlier this season, that's pretty much how it was, right? So, no, this is a nice shot in the arm, as I would like to say. But no, the young Bucks stepped up. The the senior leaders on this team stepped up too, whether it was Ben Barton or Rico or, like I said, Matt Young. But no, props to these guys all around to get that big win. And we're moving on to Indy.
So looking through all of the 2011 game logs for Badgers football, and goddamn, Mike Taylor and Chris Borland were a pair.
Yeah.
We got the new pair.
So looking at it on October 1st, 2011, Mike Taylor had a 14 tackle game. On October 15th, 2011, Chris Borland had a 15 tackle game. On November 19th, Chris Borland had a 16 tackle game.
Christ.
And on October 29th, 2011, Mike Taylor had a 22 tackle game.
Oh my goodness.
So Cooper Catalano's 19 tackles were the most since October 29th of 2011, Mike Taylor. So great job going forward. Mike, what are you looking for from the offense at Indiana this weekend?
Yeah, man, just keeping up that consistency in the run game. I mean, you would think Carter Smith is going to get the nod as well. So, I mean, collectively just getting this run game going, whether it's with the quarterback or just building up more consistency, because that I'm pretty sure that's going to be right around 80 to 85% of our plays is going to be on the ground. So just building up that camaraderie again with the O-line as well, and getting Gideon Atuka at least 20 to 25 carries would be a start. But no, if we can get Jackson Aker involved a little more too, and just again build up whoever's healthy at the end of the day in that running back room, put your helmet on. You're gonna play a little bit. I don't know if I haven't heard anything about Yak. Dylan Jones is out for the year.
Yep.
I haven't heard anything about Darian Dupree yet at this time. So it'll be interesting how that all shapes out. But no, just continually building up the consistency. You know, you're seeing it back-to-back weeks now. We've gotten better the last two games against two very good teams, mind you, two ranked opponents, and our run game has gotten better after each one of those games. So who knows, man? Maybe we can go on the road and shock some people, you know. But no, just looking for that consistency at the end of the day.
Yeah. So for the passing game, I'm looking to see if Jeff Grimes can dial up some creative RPOs for Carter Smith that include some play action wrinkles, you know, some rollouts, some bootlegs, preferably to the strong side to give him a little bit more time to roll out. I know they did a couple of bootlegs, but it felt like they were doing it on the short side of the hash marks, which only gives them like 4 or 5 steps to make a decision. So if you run that to the strong side, you give him the width of the hash marks to maybe make some of those decisions. So that's what I'm looking for from the offense, is to get creative with that. So Jake, what are you looking for from the offense?
First point is I hate the hash marks in college. It's the dumbest thing.
Dumbest
thing in sports. Just make it uniform with the NFL. All these kids are trying to get to the NFL anyways. The NCAA doesn't play on a smaller basketball court. It's so stupid. But anyways, Indiana's the number 1 scoring offense in the nation at 44.5, so they're going to try to hang some numbers on you. So I wrote down that our offense is going to have to play keep away. It's going to be tough to do. Indiana is also number 2 in scoring defense. They only allow 12.1 points per game, and they are 8th against the run at 83.7. So you're going to have to try to dominate up front. And, you know, when I was looking at it, they don't have a lot of massive people up front, and the guy who leads them in sacks is actually a linebacker. So I don't know. I think this offense just scores so many points and people try to keep up with them that, you know, they maybe make a mistake, have a turnover here or there. But Penn State had them on the road on the ropes last week, and it took an amazing catch from the wide receiver, probably the catch of the year, honestly. So try to run the ball, see if you can shorten this game out so they don't score 50 on you, and then maybe punch it into the end zone a few times, and you'll be in the ball game.
Yeah.
And you never know.
What do you think about defense?
The Hoosiers are a run-first offense with a Heisman candidate at quarterback, so that's really just a recipe for success, right? It's going to be a tough task this week, but this will be a good test for everybody up front when Indiana is actually 3rd in the FBS in time of possession. They possess the ball on an average 34.18 seconds per game, and it makes sense because they have the 9th-ranked rushing attack. They have two good running backs. Both of them are seniors. Roman Hemby, he has 137 carries for 656 yards and 5 touchdowns. He averages 4.8 yards per rush. And their backup backup. Kalan Black, he has 108 carries, 651 yards, and 5 touchdowns, and a 6-yard average. So both these guys can get you yards. I mean, the 4.8 yard average and a 6-yard average is absolutely insane. That's a wagon. But if the Badgers up front can play with good strength, play with integrity up front, with gap integrity, and let the linebackers flow, Posa and Catalano are going to have their work cut out for them. But everybody's going to have to tackle up front. We're going to have to not let leaky runs go for longer than the 3 to 6 range.
Yeah. As for the linebackers, like I mentioned already, like keep riding the freshmen. They look like studs and they sound like they're here to stay. So
Yes.
let's just we can go into 2026 with a position established for sure
Yes.
with those guys by just letting them play out the rest of the season.
Yes.
As Jake was talking about, Indiana is number 2 in college football in points per game. In my mind, keeping them under 30 would be a W.
They're number 1 in scoring offense, number 2 in scoring defense.
Oh, my numbers I saw, they were number 2 in scoring offense, but
they
it's
ever-
by like 0.3. So
Oh, okay. Well, either way,
Um,
whatever. They're good.
yeah, here
Yeah.
nor there, they're first or second out of 125.
They score.
So, Mike, what are you looking for from the Badgers defense?
Yeah, I mean, you guys, I literally had that written down too on my end. But no, I mean, as far as the secondary goes, you're playing against a Heisman Trophy candidate. Make no mistake about it. Mendoza, he's got 2,342 passing yards, 26 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. Indiana's got 2 stud wide receivers. Omar Cooper, he's got 700 yards, 9 touchdowns. Elijah Surratt, he did not play against Penn State last week, so I'm going to be monitoring that going into this Saturday. So we'll see how that shapes out. But regardless, Rico's going to definitely have his hands full. Neil Agard's going to have his hands full. Deone Hill between like that 3-man rotation potentially. So I got limit big plays, nothing over 20 yards really. If we can limit big plays and linebackers do their job, D lineman does their job, and like Tyler, I think that's a good point that you made. If we can keep these guys under 30, I think that would be that would be a win, I think, for this team, especially going on the road. It is supposed to be like 70 and sunny there, so there's this Saturday, so there's no rain or anything like that. Sorry, Jake, my bad. I took your thunder. Aren't you? You're the weather guy. That's my fault.
It's all good.
All righty. Well, we will be back again next Wednesday with more recaps and more previews. Thanks for sticking around. We'll have more Bucks basketball, we'll have more Badgers basketball, and we'll have more Badgers football. So stick around with us. We'll be back again next Wednesday. Again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week.